Hi, welcome back to Your Checkup. We are the patient education podcast where we bring conversations from the doctor's office to your ears. I'm Ed Dulesky, a family medicine resident in the Philadelphia area.
And I'm Nicola Rufo. I'm a nurse.
And we are so excited that you were able to join us here again today. What's it like being pooped on by a bird at the beach?
God, Eddie. We're really talking about this?
We are. I didn't tell you ahead of time because I wanted a raw.
Oh my God, it got on my mouth and everything. That was so gross.
Tell me what it was like.
It was shocking.
Okay. And? Was it warm or cold?
It was a little warm.
Yeah. Coming from inside the body of a seagull.
Yeah, I mean, it was hot out though, so.
So it probably just blended in with everything else. Wow. They say that the age-old adage is that that's good luck. Do you feel that way?
Sure.
You think that was good luck?
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Shout us out in the comments or if you have the fan mail to let us know if you've been pooped on by a bird, specifically a seagull, or if you think it's good luck. It seems a little strange that you're getting pooped on by a bird to think that it's going to help you out later in life, but maybe it's character building. That's what we're not talking about character building today. What are we talking about today, Nick?
Wait. First.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a new collective noun.
What's that?
Yesterday.
Oh.
A group of bunnies is called a fluffle.
Wait, that's like the cutest thing I've...
I know.
A fluffle?
Yeah. All our beach bunnies. Do you think there are fluffles like on the golf course at night?
Well, yeah. I think they probably
The
congregate. Yeah. Maybe they sleep together. Fluffle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Wait, that's so cute.
I know.
Wow.
It was from one of my patients. I don't know how we landed there because it's a little bit of a flight of ideas situation happening. But that's where we landed.
Wow. Then it's also reminding me that a couple weeks ago, we had discussions about Subway's advertising. And we people reached out to us from the fan mail. And we had one mysterious person reach out. And it turns out that person was Mike Rosansky. And he was the one who commented that Subway does, in fact, have advertising.
While he was painting his basement floor.
He was painting his basement floor, stopped what he was doing, sent in the fan mail, and then only a week later revealed to me that it was him. And he has a beautiful house, and we're so proud of him for his basement, which he really put together with Sam in no time at all. And it's beautiful. It's awesome. So he revealed himself. He was the Subway Joker. Subway Sam. Subway Sultan.
You love saying Sultan.
It's
recently.
I'm in my Sultan era.
Oh my God.
As it were. So what are we going to talk about today, Nick?
Today we're talking about nutrition. Very broad, basic nutrition facts because we both feel like the general knowledge of basic nutrition is severely lacking.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, it feels complicated. It feels a little overwhelming. In my mind, going into this just up front, we'll say out loud that nutrition and food itself is social, it's cultural. There's a scientific component to it. It's economic.
And we're not talking about diet. We're not telling you what to eat to do whatever outcome that you're looking for.
Right.
So if you came here for that, you're not going to find that here, but you'll find other information. And also with considerations that for whatever sort of reason, your doctor might have you on some sort of a specific diet. You might be on a low sodium kind of situation.
Right.
Something like that. So this is just general facts.
That's great.
We're not telling you what to eat.
Not at all. But just giving you some things to think about, rather.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say broad strokes, there are certain foods that you should probably have more of and certain foods that you should probably have less of. And I'll take the foods that you should probably have more of, just to say them out loud in a quick one-sentence line, is that you should probably be eating more vegetables, fruits, beans, nuts, and whole grains. And we are going to dive into each of those. But Nick, what sorts of meats Nick, what sorts of foods, not to have any sort of leading discussion there, what sorts of foods should we think twice about having so often? Notice we're like we're not using like never have or don't have, because like that language isn't great. So like what foods should we have less of?
So more so in moderation, red and processed meats, the quote unquote unhealthy fats, which we'll talk more into. I kind of have a lot to say about that in my personal opinion.
Awesome.
Sugar, salt, and alcohol.
And so at this point, there are so many factors on a nutrition label that help describe food and help a company who's like producing food let you know what's in it. And I think oftentimes people will think about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, but it's definitely still a little more complicated than that. And so at this point in the next segment of the episode, we're going to talk about dietary components that have some health benefits. So things you can keep around the house that may make you healthier. So when we first start thinking about foods that'll give you some benefit, we come to fruits and vegetables. And if you look around a lot of sources, they'll say numbers upwards of 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. What's your first reaction to that?
I mean, that's, the saying that we've heard for years. And I still think it's pretty hard though, because I mean, we eat pretty healthy, I would say, like a lot of the time. And I don't know that we're eating 5 servings of vegetables every day.
No, I'm not entirely sure we are either, because it doesn't happen oftentimes with breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, sometimes breakfast salads. We should bring them back this week, maybe.
Bring back breakfast salad. If you're curious what a breakfast salad is, you can. I don't know what you can do. Should we tell them?
Our secret breakfast salad?
Then it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Maybe we'll post it on Instagram.
Maybe. So, like we said, it's easier said than done to do that. We're not even sure that we're able to do that. But if you are considering going from maybe no vegetables to some vegetables in your diet, you can try to have them in the house. That's a good first step. And you can try to think about incorporating them with an extra meal than you normally have. Do you think that's sound advice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's going to go from 0 to 5 servings of vegetables overnight. So, like our most recent episodes on behavior change, you'll have to see the value in it. So that's the first step, and have them readily available too in the house. So those are the 2 cents on fruits and vegetables. You should probably have them, and probably have a little more of them than you are, but we're not even sure that we're able to do that.
Should we talk about fiber now?
Yeah, talk about fiber.
This is our favorite thing.
So the next major thing, the next major food category that we want to talk about is fiber.
Oh my God, fiber.
Fiber is an insoluble substance that passes through your body that isn't digested and can help improve your bowel movements. That's all great and all, but the real question is, how do you get fiber in your diet? What are some early thoughts you have about fiber?
Well, the main way that someone gets fiber is from fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So it goes back to
Great.
Eating your fruits and vegetables, getting your fiber. Most people
How much fiber should someone have in a day?
25 to about 35 grams per day.
Okay. Do you think
give or take?
Do we do that?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we get pretty close, yeah.
All right. And some, because not everyone needs the same amount of fiber in a day. So sometimes people will look at it on a per 1,000 calorie basis. And so it's about 14 grams per 1,000 calories of fiber that you should have in a day. So what are some, I wrote some down here. Maybe you have some off the top of your head. What are some foods that are a little more potent in fiber?
Well, I think the first one people think of it are beans.
Mm-hmm.
We love a chickpea.
Big chickpea family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It's actually been a little while since I've enjoyed a chickpea, but
Maybe we should get some more.
yeah.
I don't think we have any right now, actually.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
They're really good with like ranch seasoning in the air fryer.
Yeah, and it's all about making them delicious and enticing. So chickpeas, they also have a good amount of protein too. You'll find the fiber.
Oh, and a lentil. We love a lentil also.
We love a lentil.
I mean, your obvious vegetables, fruits.
Dates.
Dates and prunes.
Prunes. I'm seeing here prunes, 12.4 grams for 1 cup of prunes. I'm not exactly sure who's eating a whole cup of prunes, but that's a lot of fiber.
You might need to put a diaper on after you do that.
And all of the beans have well over 10 grams of fiber in a serving, which is a very potent source. And like you said, we were on a big lentil kick at one point. I think we have some lentils in the cabinet that we can reach back for. Ooh. Half a cup of almonds is 8.7 grams of fiber about. But fiber's great. It'll make you feel fuller for longer, I believe. Do you agree with that statement? If you're constipated, then you might be able to increase the amount of fiber that you have.
And water. If you're increasing your fiber, you have to drink a lot of water.
Do you think that people would feel the same after increasing the amount of fiber, or might it give them a different sensation or feeling?
You might be a little bloated.
Mm-hmm. So that's something to keep an eye out.
But it's just working, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that'll go away, or does that stick around? Okay. So fiber and water.
Because you have to drink water, because if you're just drinking all of this, if you're just eating all of this fiber and it's like making everything in there bulky and you're not drinking enough water, it's just going to be like hard and then hard to get out. It's not going to help you if you're ever having any kind of issue. So you have to drink water to not make it all hard and bulky in there.
Yeah.
For lack of a better explanation.
And there are fiber supplements, but I think, and maybe I don't want to speak for you, that we would stand on the it's more fun to have it in your food and your diet.
Yeah, that's the same for anything really. Like fiber, any sort of vitamin, it's better to just eat it than get it from a supplement.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah. Do you have any last thoughts about fiber?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Great. So I actually don't have a lot to say about dairy products. I know it's the next one that we have here listed. I also think it's kind of controversial that a lot of people are moving off of.
Everyone claims they're lactose intolerant.
Okay, well maybe
no, you're not.
Well, you do lose the enzyme after some time if you don't use it.
Dairy's really high in protein.
Okay, so there are some benefits to dairy, right? So I know we're talking about it. We first mentioned it's controversial. It's high in protein, calcium, and vitamin D, which are all great for bone health and muscle health. Yeah. So, what are some forms of dairy that we have in our fridge?
We love Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
And a cheese stick.
Great.
Always have Locatelli,
Hey, get the Locatelli.
Yeah, everyone likes to hate on dairy. And then drink some other processed form of non-dairy milk or non-dairy whatever that's all just made with a bunch of seed oil that's not good for you. So just eat the dairy.
All right. Any last thoughts on dairy? Seemed really passionate there.
I don't think so.
I think we're going to win all of the I'm thinking of Chloe's dad, the milk farmer, and that we're going to win over a lot of support.
Yeah, just people. Drink the milk. Put it in your coffee. Eat the ice cream. Relax.
All right. So the next, I actually, kind of left this open for us, is protein. What are your thoughts on protein?
Ollie has thoughts on protein.
He does.
He likes when we cook him chicken.
Yeah.
I wonder who's out there. Maybe it's the male. Well, protein, kind of along with fiber, protein is one of those things that if you eat more of it, it'll keep you more satiated, more full, and you're not going to have that blood sugar spike and drop that kind of makes you hungry and a little hangry.
And you mentioned an important word there. Can you explain what satiated means?
Yeah, it means that you are satisfied and you don't feel hungry anymore.
Awesome.
You're satisfied in what you eat.
And so now we've identified two components of food, fiber and protein, which may help you feel satiated. which is a great way to just reduce the amount of calories that you're eating in a day, which we're not going to dive into too much today.
But if that's something that you're looking to do, might want to increase your protein.
Right. What are some?
I think it's, that's also like a big thing now. I feel sometimes with protein, what's like quote unquote considered being a good source of protein.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that like varies and it kind of depends on what your goals are and what someone's definition of a good source of protein is. Some people will say if a food has like 30% of the calories from protein, that's a good source. I think a general rule of thumb, like very general and broad, is that there should be, to be considered, again, a quote unquote good source of protein, it should have 10 grams of protein for every 100 calories in the food. So like when people say, I'm trying to increase my protein, I'm going to eat all of these peanuts or all of this peanut butter. It's really not that great of a source of protein. Like, yes, there is protein in it, but like a one serving of peanut butter is just under 200 calories. And there's, I think, like 8 grams of protein.
So by that definition, doesn't have that great a fraction of protein.
Yeah. Whereas like,
that's a nice rule of thumb.
I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head, like a cheese stick.
Okay.
I think the ones that we have in the fridge are like 60 or 80 calories, and I think they're like 8 grams of protein each.
There you go.
So that's better.
That matches right up.
Yeah.
I think, take it or leave it. Like we have those protein drinks in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're 160 calories
and
30 grams. So that far outgoes, maybe even almost doubles that rule.
Yeah. So that's something to think about if you are trying to be like more mindful of eating more protein.
That's awesome.
And not necessarily like tracking and like counting every single gram that you eat. I mean, you can, and people do that, but if that's what you're trying to be mindful of, you can try doing that like 10-to-1 ratio.
That's awesome. Okay. And then you can just look on the nutrition label, and that's an easy calculation of the calories in the serving and the protein in the serving.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We like ground turkey. If you're a meat eater,
yeah,
we have it all the time on rotation here.
Maybe we could. I was just really going through a chicken ick the last couple of months, and we really haven't had any chicken in the house.
No.
I was in the throes of it for a while. Maybe next time we go grocery shopping, we can try some chicken again.
Yeah, that's another, I guess I would call that a lean meat, which is another protein. That's good. Of course, you can get protein from other places, like those foods we mentioned earlier, like red meat, which like I'd be hypocritical to say that I don't eat it. And just in moderation, I suppose, is the kind of the way to think about things.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, speaking of, do you have any other thoughts on protein?
I don't think so.
Okay. And we can always revisit these topics later because that's the glory of what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still on the topic of dietary components that give you health benefits. And I think oftentimes there comes a question of there's an umbrella term of fat in food.
The fats.
And
I got a lot to say about this
then
one
there's
too.
good
I feel
fats and people call them bad fats. And I kind of just want to open it up and give you the floor. Just say whatever you want about fats, and then maybe we can go back and forth.
Okay, the fats. Everyone loves to talk about healthy fats and unhealthy fats, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our saturated and trans fats, I feel like people don't talk about trans fats as much as they did in like the early 2000s.
I think mainly because they're supposed to be eliminated from food.
Yeah.
And when I was looking this up, they only 2018 is a landmark time when they're supposed to be out totally, but they may sneak their way into certain fast foods.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not going to get into like the science and the chemistry of like a polyunsaturated fat, a monounsaturated fat, da-da-da-da-da-da. This isn't a whole nutrition class. I mean, I guess we could if the people wanted that, but and this is all just like my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Regarding this, but okay, it depends on, what our goals are.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you are eating a certain way to lose weight, or maybe you're just eating a certain way to just generally be healthy.
Sure.
But I feel like when people are like with peanut butter is a big one, and they're like, oh, well, it's healthy fats, or an avocado is another one where people will add 300 calories of an avocado to their meal, and but it's healthy fat, so it's good for you, because at the end of the day, a fat has the same amount of calories per gram, whether it's healthy or unhealthy. Fats have 9 calories per gram, whereas carbs and protein have 4.
Right.
So there are, better ones that you could eat, I guess. But then, same with protein. There are, I guess, quote unquote, healthier proteins that you could eat, or maybe limit the unhealthier ones, which people, oftentimes say are like red meat and things like that.
Yeah. I guess it almost sounds like you're getting at some people may increase the amount of food that they have and their percentage of calories eaten, but maybe they're more willing to go over their what usually is probably a total daily calorie goal or allotment for a person, which is dependent on their age, activity level, and sex. But people should rather maybe think about the percentages of that total calorie rather than just wholesale adding on more just because something might be healthy fat, that they still should limit the portion.
Yeah.
Is that a key piece that you might agree with? I will say that I think there are several underlying health benefits or detriments to unhealthy fats, like the saturated fats, the trans fats, that we might not get into today, but know that like there's a reason that there's healthy and unhealthy ones, but the overall portion control is still important. So some good fats come from foods like nuts, seeds, avocados, nut butter, olive oil, sesame oil. These are things that you can reach for to fill that daily requirement of fat, but don't overdo it. Like you don't overdo anything. Awesome. As we enter our next segment, we realize that Nikki's extremely uncomfortable hunching over the mic while I sit cushy over here with the boom arm. So we just had a conversation about good fats, and this is a optimal transition point to talk about dietary components that we should think about having in moderation or limiting. And the first one that leads us off here are quote unquote unhealthy fats. What do you think about those?
You always ask me just what I think about something. It's so vague.
I know. I'm so interested in what you think about them, though.
I mean, the unhealthy fats a lot of them are, I think, what we said in the beginning of things generally to maybe limit or just have in moderation. So like butter, cheese, red meat, full fat milk products. And then, I don't know, should we talk about trans fats?
We kind of talked about them earlier a bit.
Yeah.
Already. But trans fats are pretty bad, actually, and they've actually been removed from most of food processing and recipes. But they were always found in places like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, probably Five Guys. Sorry. And as delicious as they are, definitely had components to them that probably weren't the healthiest. And they made them oh so tasty at the same time. Yeah. So, rounding up the conversation on unhealthy fats, we transition over to added sugars. And this is a part of the all too confusing carbohydrate section of the nutrition label.
We could do like a whole episode on carbs, probably.
Yeah, maybe we will. And maybe we'll find ourselves diving in over the course of time into each of these more.
I read a really interesting book. It's called The Glucose Revolution. And it was pretty interesting.
And you learned a lot from it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think specifically, while we're in this dietary components to limit, we're sitting here with added sugar. And like we said, it lives under the carbohydrate section. And something I've been hearing more recently is that about 10 grams of added sugar in a serving might not make it worth it in a food nutritionally.
I mean, I think that's kind of been I always say general rule of thumb. Like I need another descriptor. But yeah, a general rule of thumb, I think, is if you're looking at the nutrition label and there are like the added sugars is just one digit, that's kind of an okay amount, but then anything over 10 that's just a lot. I mean, if you get a food scale, like take a food scale and weigh out the amount of sugar that's in something and you're just like seeing it there right in front of you, it's kind of crazy.
Wow. I know you've done that more. It's not something I've taken advantage of, but maybe
we have a food scale.
I know we do, but maybe as an exercise, I can jump in there and see what actually goes into something and like see how much I'm likely overeating.
I mean, we don't eat a lot of things with added sugar, I don't think. I mean, you put like a little sugar in your coffee.
Mm-hmm. But outside of that, not much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or like if you're one of those soda drinkers, you're drinking a lot of sugar.
Yeah. That's a key piece here.
Like a crazy amount.
Not drinking your calories is a helpful tip.
Mm-hmm.
That is
or like
usually
juice even.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you're an adult who is a juice drinker.
But if it's in juice, you're likely not getting the fiber benefit. So if you're reaching for the fruit substance, instead of having the juice, just have the fruit. Mm-hmm. Not drinking your calories is one of the first steps to being able to look at your diet and think, how can I remove some calories so that I might be able to lose some weight?
Yeah, it is crazy. Like if you, I don't know off the top of my head, like how much sugar is in a bottle of soda, like the, you know, like the little ones, like single serve ones. I don't know how much is in there. But I would bet that if you took a cup and weighed out that many grams of sugar that were in there, it would be shocking.
Yeah. Maybe that's something that we even do, just to take a look at it. We don't have it in the house, but maybe there are other healthy alternatives. If you're thinking about what to do and you're a soda drinker, maybe you go for seltzer, but you're conscious of your teeth, because I've definitely had some seltzer and then just like gnawed away at my enamel. Or there are other sodas that are being advertised on TV that are more like juice based. I'm thinking of like Olipop, which is one that has more fiber that we're thinking of more recently, or Poppies.
They're marketed as like a probiotic soda. If you drink one of them, like you're not getting any probiotic benefits. I think that's just how they're marketing it, but it's definitely less calories, less sugar.
And if that's interesting,
and they taste good.
They do taste good. And if that's interesting to anyone, then maybe we can do a separate little ditty episode about that. But maybe there's a whole lot to say about added sugars and carbohydrates in general. Maybe we're finding ourselves in a place where we should make a whole episode on one of those. But to keep it at a high level overview, let's keep moving.
Okay.
So then we come to red and processed meats, which I'm thinking of things like sausage, hot dogs, bacon, which I love them all. But these are things that if you're American are near and dear to your heart, probably, and are also things that you should probably take a second to think about how much you're happening. Do you have any thoughts on red and processed meats?
No.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably one of the biggest sources of why America is where it is in terms of its nutrition problem, but we'll keep moving along. Processed foods are things that I'm sure that a dietitian or nutritionist could probably lean in hard on a whole like lecture series about, but essentially there are more components added to the food which make them last longer, which overall in a vague, broad stroking type of way are not as good for you. Mm-hmm. You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we come to alcohol, which if you looked at enough research studies, you could probably find them that like alcohol has some sort of random benefit for someone who drinks it at a certain amount of time in a certain population. Mm-hmm. Overall, the best way to go about this is, I mean, there's no two ways about it. Not having alcohol in your life is healthiest, but it's such a big part of our culture that people do use it. And we're going to have alcohol episodes in the future, but for diet purposes, alcohol does have a certain amount of calories.
It's 7, I think.
Yeah, 7 calories per gram.
Right.
So
it's 7.
Yeah. 7 calories per gram. And when you really look at that, it could be not insignificant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with that, we're coming to the end of our episode here. Thank you for, this was awesome. I think this is a big topic in general and certainly is something that needs to be done in multiple episodes. But the point of this episode was a broad overview of foods that give you health benefit and foods that you may think about limiting because they don't give as much benefit and maybe aren't good for you. And we really appreciate that you were able to come back again on this episode of Your Checkup. Please check out our website, our Instagram. Please feel free to email us. You can find that anywhere where we are online. Please rate and review the show. If you found anything helpful, just go into the comments or the review section and write us a little comment saying that, man, this was great. Or if you have criticism for us, email us instead. We would love to be able to do that. If you have fan mail and your name isn't Fran or Rufo, then you are more than welcome to send us anything. We are open for any suggestions that people have of topics that they want covered. We would love to help people out. We've got a couple from a few people I know with interests, so we're coming up on those soon in the future. And as always, thank you again for coming back. We hope maybe today you learned something for yourself, a loved one, or
a neighbor.
And the last thing we'll say is that we hope that you stay healthy, my friends. Until next time, I'm Ed Dulesky.
I'm Nicole Rufo.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
This information may provide a brief overview of diagnosis, treatment, and medications. It's not exhaustive and is a tool to help you understand potential options about your health. It doesn't cover all details about conditions, treatments, or medications for a specific person. This is not medical advice or an attempt to substitute medical advice. You should contact a healthcare provider for personalized guidance based on your unique circumstances. We explicitly disclaim any liability relating to the information given or its use. This content doesn't endorse any treatments or medications for a specific patient. Always talk to your healthcare provider for complete information tailored to you. In short, I'm not your doctor.
I am not your nurse.
And make sure you go get your own checkup with your own personal doctor.